Eddie Kraspakien, you remember him. This is battery acid, you fuck. Well, it wasn't battery acid, and it wasn't even real asthma medication. So, Eddie Kasprakian has a condition. He has asthma, so we're led to believe. Actually, Eddie Kasprakian has hypochondria and psychosomatic reactions to stress and anxiety. Now, in the summer of 1958, he's one of the first ones that we see actually hanging around Bill and the Barons before they even get the idea to build the dam. When they first meet Ben, and Bill has to hurry up and go get Eddie a refill on his asthma medicine. And Ben meets them because he was hiding from Henry, who had just carved an H into Ben's stomach. Now, Eddie is the most neurotic. Okay, him and Stan are the most neurotic of the losers. But Eddie is the one that has. Eddie is the one that's more fragile. Because Eddie is also the best navigator. Bill says it's like he has a compass in his mind. It's like he has a compass. Because anytime you get lost, you ask Eddie which way to get to this place, and Eddie will know without having to use any kind of reference points. And that is something that comes in handy under the city because there's no lights. There's no way of. There's no "you are here" like sign to try to find your way through the labyrinth that is under the city. They have Eddie, which is the next best thing and the only thing that they have. And Eddie leads them. He's the only one that was able to, and is the only one that could ever navigate you through the sewers under Derry and lead you through the right route that leads directly to the door with the symbol on it that is interpreted as that is supposed to be interpreted as child missing right arm. But when you see it, you'll only interpret it as what you fear the most. He's the only one that can lead you there. He's the guide. He's the navigator. And he's also the one that suffers the most physical damage. I mean, at least in 1958. Because he's the only one that Henry and his gang actually catch up to after the rock fight. And they kind of make an example out of him. Because right before that, Eddie is going to Mr. Keene in order to get a refill on his asthma medication. And Mr. Keene finally has just had enough. He goes, Eddie, come see, we need to have a talk. And Eddie's apprehensive. He doesn't know why Mr. Keene suddenly needs to have this conversation with him. And Mr. Keene sits him down. And he goes, Eddie, you know what a placebo is? And Eddie's like, yeah, but do you know what it is? Because I need to make sure. Yeah, but do you know what it is? I think I know what it is, but I need to know if you know what it is. And Mr. King's like, cut the crap, Eddie. Your medicine, your inhaler. Read the label on the back of it. And Eddie turns it around and administer as needed. And Mr. King nods. And Eddie doesn't understand what Mr. King is getting at. And Mr. King finally just spells it out. Eddie, if you have medicine and you just administer it as much as you think you need to take it, wouldn't you just overdose and die? And Eddie's like, I guess, what does that have to do with me? Eddie, if the medicine says administer as needed, meaning take as much as you want whenever you feel like you might need it, doesn't that sound weird? And Eddie's like, I still don't know what the fuck you mean. Eddie, you bitch, it's water. It's water and something to make it taste like medicine. And Eddie's like, what? With my asthma. Eddie, you're a hypochondriac. It's purely in your mind. You don't have asthma. And Eddie's like, this nigga tripping, what the fuck? Yes, I do. I got an inhaler. And Mr. King's like, you know what, Eddie? Whenever you're ready to accept that you're healthy, I'll be there rooting for you. But until then, whatever, I guess. And so Eddie walks out. And as soon as he walks out, Henry, unfortunately, is like right there with like six dudes that fuck with him tough. And he usually only has the two. And so this is like so fucked up. He's like, hey, wait a minute. Isn't this one of them? Hey, weren't you were throwing the rocks yesterday, weren't you? Where are your homeboys? And Eddie's like, shit, they're inside. And Henry's like, nah, you're lying. Hey, somebody grab him. And they grab him and they fuck him up. So Eddie's on the ground with his arm broken. And as they're leaving, Patrick Hostetter turns around. Patrick Hostetter, scary dude. Wouldn't want to really have to interact with him. Patrick Hostetter turns around for no reason, just to do it. Hey, this is a gift. And he spits on Eddie. So if Eddie didn't hate Patrick Hostetter before, he definitely hated him now. So they all leave. And Eddie gets a cast on his arm that he wears for the rest of the summer of 1958. So, as an adult, now as a child, whenever he's guiding them through the sewers, this is the key factor of his character that continues as an adult. He's still the only one that can be the guide to its lair, and symbolically, he tries to use the same thing he did as a child to distract it during the ritual of Chud, which was, hey, this is battery acid. Only as an adult, he doesn't have as much conviction in his belief that the placebo, the asthma medicine that was never real in the first place, can actually be battery acid anymore. It's not even asthma medicine anymore. It's just water with something added to make it taste like medicine. And because of this, it just eats his right arm. And Eddie dies. And symbolically, this represents that no one needs to be led to this door anymore. No one needs to be a guide to this door anymore. Because when they have to leave after it is dead, they have to leave Eddie's body behind that door. They have to believe the only person that can lead you to this door ever again is behind this door. So they leave Eddie's body in the lair. They make it back above ground as adults, and it's finally over. But Eddie and Stan are dead. Eddie's biggest fear, I think, what was his biggest fear? It was the leper. Oh yeah. Eddie is the reason they even know to track it to the house on the Bloy Street, because Eddie was just chilling one day when it, disguised as a leper, comes from the house on the Bloy Street. And the way Bill is able to tell it's the same house that Eddie was talking about. It's because when the leopard touches the flowers die. And the leopard pulls himself off from the cellar and goes, Eddie. He's really sexually explicit and it's weird. I don't really want to. So he's like, Eddie, come see her right quick. And Eddie's like, what's wrong with this nigga? Because the grotesque features of the leper, they're advanced stages of syphilis. Because Eddie, the hypochondriac, doesn't want to get touched by someone that fucking sick. What the hell? And so he runs for his life successfully. But when he gets to Bill, he tells Bill and Richie about the leopard that he saw. And Bill and Richie go to investigate due to Eddie's story. Eddie is the one that also guides them to the house it uses as a midway point, as its base of operations